What's up guys, welcome back to the video. Today I'll be showing you everything you need to know to advance quickly in the Roblox game, The Forge. So we'll be going over everything you need to know to advance all the way to Island 2. But yeah, without further ado, the first thing I want to mention is all of the working codes in the game. These are going to give you some more race rerolls and other stuff like that. But if you go over here into your settings and type in the following code, there's going to be 5k likes, which I already redeemed, 10k likes, 15k likes, 20k likes, 40k likes, and then 100k exclamation point. So I'll also put all of those in the description as well. But yeah, so when you start off the game, the first thing you're going to want to do is pick a good race to start off with. So I already chose my race right now, which is the demon race. But if I go all the way over here to the wizard, I can go ahead and change my race. Basically, when you first start off the game, you're going to have one race slot. And you can reroll, I think, 3 times for free. And then you can either buy rerolls or use those codes to get more. These different races over here all have different perks. And you want to focus on different stuff in the game with these different races. For example, for Dragonborn, Orc, Minotaur, or Golem, you're going to want to focus on getting heavy weapons and heavy armor and all that stuff. And then for stuff like the Goblin, the Elf, and the Dwarf, you're going to try and get agile weapons and armor. Then for the rarest ones like Golem, Angel, Demon, stuff like that, it really doesn't matter because they're good for both agile and heavy weapons and armor. But yeah, so you do not want to use the human race though because you don't get any perks at all. So you want to avoid that. Just reroll a couple times until you get something decent. But yeah, so onto the basics of the game. There's dashing, blocking, parry, and stuff like that. So in order to dash, you want to go ahead and press Q. And the cooldown is actually very, very short. So this is very, very good for PvP, or not really PvP, but just fighting these zombies and stuff within the cave. If I pull out my weapon over here and then I hold F, you guys can see that I will be shielding. So this is going to block any incoming attack from this direction. Or if I just tap F, then it's going to parry. Blocking and parrying are honestly very, very good to learn if you want to make Island 2 very, very easy. And later in the video, of course, we will talk about how to get to Island 2 in the game. Now I'll go ahead and talk about essentially how you progress within Island 1. So over here, if we go into the cave, you're going to see 2 main NPCs over here. This guy named Nord and this guy named Umut the Brave. So Nord gives a mining quest, and then over here, Umut the Brave gives killing zombies quest. So if you have one of the races I mentioned earlier, which has heavy armor and heavy weapons, then I would recommend going to the zombies quest and focusing on that. But if you have one of the agile races, I would go ahead and focus on the Nord quest, which is mining. Over here in the inventory, you can go ahead and track or untrack quests. I have all of these right now. That's also something I should mention as well, is over here, if you press T, you can open up your inventory and you have your personal stash, equipments, index, achievements, quests, and the shop. And we will go more into that stuff later, especially the index. But yeah, another thing you want to do within Island 1 is do the Lost Guitar quest. So if you come to this guy, his name is Bard, then if you haven't already done the quest, he's going to say, can you get my lost guitar? Just say sure, and then once you are given the quest, you want to head into the cave and just follow me because there is a secret area right in this corner. If you turn left when you enter the cave, just go ahead into this little corner, and then on this area there will be a lost guitar. Just go ahead and pick it up. But yeah, once you have the guitar in your inventory, you can go ahead and climb back up here, give it to the NPC over there, and then he is going to give you a key, and that key is going to be used to unlock an area within the cave where you can get the Arcane Pickaxe, I believe. Yeah, so for the pickaxes, what you want to do is basically just skip the early bad pickaxes. What your goal should be when you first start the game is essentially just trying to hit level 10 as fast as possible, because that is a requirement to unlock Island 2. But the pickaxe progression that I recommend is just getting the bronze pickaxe, then the iron pickaxe, and then the gold pickaxe. But then you want to skip the platinum pickaxe and just use gold for the remainder of the time that you are in Island 1. Upgrading your pickaxe is much more important than upgrading your weapon during early game. But yeah, so I haven't really mentioned forging yet at all, which is one of the key features of the game. Obviously, it's called The Forge. But obviously, if you've already played the game for a little bit, then you've gone through the tutorial and you probably do already know how to forge. All you do really need to know is that obviously more materials means it's going to be a bigger item. So if I go ahead and put some of my random stuff in here, it's going to be a much bigger item than if I were to like remove all this gold over here. My main recommendation is definitely to not use rare ores early. If you go mining and you get decently rare ores, I would not use them until you reach Island 2, for example, because you really don't need to focus on weapons when you're within Island 1. Again, pickaxe should be your main focus. And if you go into your inventory and you go to your stash and you favorite certain stuff it will make it unsellable, so you can go ahead and collect your rare ores. When you are in Island 1 and you're in the early game though, I would recommend to forge a couple of items for index XP, because as I said earlier, I was going to mention the index. If we go into the index over here and we go to the forge, then there's going to be the daggers, the swords, gauntlets, and all this different stuff. Collecting the index XP from forging new stuff is actually a really good way to level up fast. If we go to the enemies over here, for example, you guys can see I had 400 XP from collecting the index for the axe skeleton. So make sure to consistently check your index and claim any index XP. But yeah, the next thing I'll talk about is enhancing and runes. So over here, if we go straight past the spawn area, there is enhancer right here, and then across that, rune maker. If we go in here, he says, did you know that you have to enhance your equipment before putting on some runes? You can say, yes, I'm here to enhance, and you can select any of your equipments. So I'll just put some of my armor in here. For example, if I select this, what you want to do is only really enhance gear that you will keep. So if you have enough materials to do it 3 times, which I don't for this one, you can go ahead and also get a rune. As you guys can see on my silver sword over here, I have the flame spark, the burn, and critical chance. But yeah, once you do 3 enhancements, you can go to the rune maker over here, and if you have any runes, it'll show up there. For example, on my cobalt pickaxe over here, I can go ahead and use the miner shard rune and get the swift mining 1. You can get up to 2 runes on each equipment. But yeah, so now I want to talk about the way to level up the fastest within the game. One thing I learned is that if you just go ahead and mine each ore once, like go ahead and do that 1 time, go ahead and do that 1 time, then you will get more XP than if you just go ahead and break every single one. Obviously, if your main goal isn't to farm XP and you actually do want to get the different crafting materials, then you should definitely completely mine every single ore. But if you really just want to level up as fast as possible, then yeah, you can just tap each thing 1 time. Of course, killing mobs and doing the quests is a way to level up fast as possible. If you go ahead to Umut the Brave or to Nord and do these quests, that is the fastest way to level up in my opinion. But yeah, you definitely want to forge at least once and continue to claim your index rewards for huge XP. But yeah, in order to unlock Island 2, I believe all you have to do is just wait until you reach level 10, and then once you reach level 10, you automatically get the portal in your inventory. But if you don't automatically get it, you should come to the wizard over here, I believe. But yeah, so all you need to do is once you reach level 10, get this portal and place it down anywhere across the map. Just press E. You can go ahead and teleport to the Forgotten Kingdom, which is Island 2 within the game. Once you enter there, there's actually going to be a cannon right here, which brings you to the top area. Down here is the main area where you buy all of the Island 2 pickaxes, but the place where you actually go into the mine is up there, so you can just go ahead and press E and you will get flung to the ruined cave. So of course in Island 2 the enemies will actually hit harder. So as I mentioned earlier, you want to focus on blocking and parrying within Island 2. You can upgrade your armor and your pickaxe even more in here. So of course this is a beginner's guide, so I won't mention pickaxes that are like super late game. But you want to go ahead and get the cobalt pickaxe once you unlock this island. And then after the cobalt pickaxe, you want to go ahead and get the titanium pickaxe. But yeah, once you unlock Island 2, I guess the final beginner tips that I have are just to accept really every single quest. Of course, accepting all the quests and doing all the quests will give you the most XP possible. As I mentioned earlier, do not sell your rare ores. Simply save them up in order to craft them into something using the forge. Another thing I want to mention is that potions are very OP. Over here, we have damage potion, health potion, speed potion, minor potion, luck potion, and in Island 2 there are more as well. And then over here there's a simple lantern, which I already own, but you do want to use the lanterns in caves because at some points it gets really dark. And yeah, if you guys have any other tips, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. I'll go ahead and heart any comments with good tips. Again, make sure to subscribe so we can reach 100k subscribers. But yeah, if you guys want more of the Forge content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.